Good morning, FlossTube. Welcome to the scienceknitster FlossTube. I'm Deb or Deborah, scienceknitster on Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. Welcome back. We actually have a few, I think about 10 since the last time I recorded, 10 new subscribers, and I'm now over 200. So, wow, I might need to have some kind of celebration. I had a little celebration when I went over 100, which I think was about a year ago, now that I think about it. So we'll see. Things are a bit busy. I did mean to record in March, but between work stress and the state of the world stress, I just I couldn't get myself motivated to do a video. Anyway, fortunately this past week things kind of clicked in my brain and the positive me came back on. So and I actually seriously contemplated recording this video on Thursday evening so I could say I got one done in March, but I was just too tired when I got home. So it's like, I'll wait till the weekend. And then I had things to do yesterday. So here we are. It is Sunday, April 3rd. So again, welcome back. And I'd like to start off this morning, as I often do, with letting you know what's in my cup. This morning, actually, I made myself some banana pancakes and a big latte. I make my own. It's really more like cafe au lait, but I call it a latte because I put syrup in it. And apparently you're not supposed to put sweetener in cafe au lait. At least that's what the people in New Orleans tell me. So I had some left. I make it in a big mug, and I had some left over, so I just stuck it in one of my old Starbucks things, the one with the pink on it, so it matches my shirt. I'm very matchy. So that's what I'm drinking this morning. A homemade latte. And I also have some water here. So anyway, so I keep saying so a lot. It's going to be one of those recordings. See if I remember how to do this. So behind me, I've switched out from Valentine's to spring. Most of my spring stuff, I realized, is Eastery, and I actually have another stitchery that's even more Easter that I am not putting out yet because it's not Easter yet. It's Lent. But anyway, you can't see my bunny because I got this bowl in the way. But the bowl is a prop. I'm going to talk about that later. But anyway, actually, I know I've shown these other ones, but I can't remember if I've shown this one before. This one is actually a needlepoint piece. I think it was a class I took through the American Needlepoint Guild chapter in Austin, and then it's Texas, so you got to have blue bonnets, right? But it was a lot of fun because lots of different stitches, and then I had it finished at. I finally finished it after I had moved away from the Austin area, and had my local stitching / quilting. Actually, it was a quilting store that also had some stitching stuff. Where I was living at the time, had them finish it, and I put a little batik, sort of springy. I had to put that on the back, but they did it in the form of a little egg ornament. Okay, so that's an old finish. So that's from, let me think, not quite 20 years ago. Probably stitched it 20 years ago. The finishing was probably 2004, maybe 2005. So, first thing, I have a finish. This is Luminous Fiber Arts Be Mine. It's one of a set of seasonal pillows. And those of you that are longtime viewers may recall that I'm a sucker for anything seasonal. And I decided, I think I mentioned last month, I wanted to work on this on Mondays in February, and call it my Mondays for the bird cell, because it just seems like all hell breaks loose on Mondays when you at work. I don't know why, but it does. But I was enjoying it so much, I just kept working on it almost every day that I had stitching time, and I finished it. So there it is. This is on, I think this is 40 count. Yes, this is 40 count soft porcelain, which is one of Luminous Fiber Arts, excuse me, Luminous Fiber Arts own dyed linen. She does her own linens. And I think, if I remember correctly, I used all the called for. Yes, I did. I used all the called for threads, and here they are. Well, except for the one that I used up. Okay, so here they are. And I am planning to do 3 or 4 of these this year. So I'm kitting up, let me grab it here. I think I stuck it here. I'm kitting up the Easter one. Yes. A Robin's Discovery. And what I've decided to do, since all the ones I'm planning to stitch are, it calls for the soft porcelain, I am gonna stitch them all on this piece, and then I'm planning to maybe not finish them exactly like this, but I am planning on finish them as pillows, because I had decided, I had refound this bowl. This is a bowl, it's a handmade cherry bowl that we bought in Virginia, and I think I bought it at the Blacksburg Farmers Market. The artist was there, woodworker was there one day. It's a beautiful bowl, and it had kind of just been sitting in a little sort of display shelving we have at our house in Corpus Christi, with another bowl inside of it. And I was like, you know what? That would be a great bowl for pillows, little pin pillows. I have a lot of things I need to fully finish that I've been dithering about. Oh, do I want to do an ornament? Do I want to do a little stand-up? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? What do I want to do? And I think I need to finish some of those as pillows and have little seasonal pillow thingies. So we'll see how that goes. I tend to finish the stitching when I do that and not do the fully finishing until my friend Susan and I get together, and she basically is like, okay, we're gonna do an assembly line, and then I just do it. So anyway, so it was exciting to get that done. I just kept working on it, and I am planning to start, if I have time to stitch tomorrow, I am planning to start this one. I don't have all the threads. I may sub out some other overdyes, or I may, for the ones that I don't have, or I probably have the DMC equivalent for most of the overdyes that I don't have. But I'm trying to stitch from stash a lot these days because I went a little overboard over the holidays and after into February, and I need to rein myself in. So anyway, so that's what's happening in terms of finishes and plans. I got a little ahead of myself, but yeah. There's a couple others. I'm still not sure what other ones I will do. I will probably do this one for summer, a Bluebird Salute. And then I have almost all of them now. and I haven't decided if I'm going to do like a fall one or do the Christmas one. Haven't decided, but yeah. So I need to put these threads away and finish getting out the threads for the next one. And right now my plan is to just do them on Mondays, but we'll see what happens. I may get consumed by it again. It was certainly fun to stitch that Valentine one. Okay, so I haven't shown you guys anything. I've actually, because it's been since early February since I've recorded, I do have quite a bit of different things to show you at least a little progress on. Which is a good thing, because in March, I spent almost all of my stitching time on Martha Dawson, which is one of the Hands Across the Sea samplers. So Martha Dawson, 1832. This was the stitch along for our Sampler Years Facebook group in 2021, which obviously I didn't finish. So I am stitching her on the called for purled barley. I'm doing mine on, this is 40 count. I shouldn't say called for, it's what the model was stitched on, I believe. And I did my own overdye conversion, mainly based on the picture. And it turns out some of the sort of browny, olivey, greeny, like the ones that go kind of from olivey green into brown. Some of the overdyes I chose, because of the way the overdye varies, they're a little bit closer together in color than I anticipated, but I actually got quite a bit done. As I said, this is the main thing I worked on in March. I got a lot more of the border in. I finished the tree. I got a bunch of stuff over on this side. No, this side. This side done, and then I put in these urns. I actually finished the pink flowers last night, and didn't quite. I hoped to finish this bird last night, but I was falling asleep, so I stopped. And I've made some progress on the house. Almost have the roof done. I like working on the house when I'm either tired or I'm on Zoom and don't want to have to count much or at all. So sort of fill in is good for that, right? But I haven't decided if I'm going to keep working on this or if I'm going to put it away and work on something else. But you know, I feel like I'm closing in, right? Because I just really have the bottom part here, well, and the house. That's going to take a bit. But, you know, that once I get to, you know, if I'm just working on the house, it's just, once I get the windows and the door in, it's just fill in. And so that would be easy to just, you know, like I said, something to stitch when I'm really tired and so forth. So I may just keep working on this one, which means I'm getting behind on the other sales I was planning to keep up on this year. And maybe I might be able to, I'm not sure I can finish her in April. It depends how much stitching time I have, but I definitely think I could finish her by the end of May if I dedicate a lot of time, a lot of my stitching time to her. So I actually ironed this because she was getting a little, I'm stitching in hand on this one and it was getting a little wrinkly. So I went ahead and ironed her this morning because I want to take a nice picture of her too for our Sampler Years group. So that's the main thing I've been working on this month. But let me see, did I touch? Yes, and I did actually work on something. I can say this past month. And then the other thing that I worked on this past month, or I should say the other two things. I just realized, no, I have that. Okay, good. I touched two other things. One I only touched one day, so not a lot of progress. This one I didn't touch as much as I planned. I'd actually planned to spend a lot of time on my hiragana sampler. Those of you that have been watching for a while know that I'm doing a mashup of this one, the Modern Fork Embroidery Hiragana Sampler, and this one, the Modern Fork Embroidery, excuse me, Katakana Sampler. These are two of the Japanese alphabets. And I'm doing a mashup, and I'm going to do my name in between my name and katakana, which is how you use the katakana alphabet for foreign words in Japan. I spent a summer there when I was a graduate student working with some Japanese scientists on a National Science Foundation program called Summer Institute in Japan. So anyway, it didn't make a whole lot of progress, but basically I got some motifs, some hiragana and some little motifs in this area done this past month in honor of Stitch Asia. So now I feel like I could make some good progress on this, even if it's just, you know, a couple of times a month, getting it out and putting in a couple of motifs. And I could at least get the hiragana part done this year. I still need to map out my name and what else, what the rest of what I want to put on the sampler in between the two samplers. So there's that. Oh, obviously out of practice. So this one is on 32 count Belfast linen that I've had in my stash forever. And I'm using, again, from my stash, Needle Necessities 113. It's their colors, I don't know if the company or their colors, or anyway, their colors are now, or basically their colors are now available through Threadworks. And at one point I did look up what the Threadworks equivalent is, and I forgot to write it down. And I haven't looked it up again since. The other thing that I worked on this month, or this past month, in honor of Mary 25 stitching on the 25th of March, I worked on this Christmas cat that I started, I think I started it in December, this past December. So this is a Bent Creek kit from, oh shoot, what's the, I meant to look up the, I don't know if this is still available. The copyright is 2009. So this was obviously in my stash. It's probably been in my stash since 2009. Maybe 2010. I bought it from the Silver Needle, so I probably bought it in one of their sales, like their New Year's Eve day sale. But anyway, let's see. I did change the colors. So I just picked from my stash overdyes that match. So it's a kit that it's not really a kit so much. It's the chart plus the beads, because you need beads for the little wreath around the cat's neck. So my cat has a face now. So I'm ready to start putting the next stuff in. I'm not sure if I'll get this out this month or something else. I have quite a few Christmas things on the go, so I have choices. So if I'm in a stitch what you want, when you want mood, I have plenty of choices. So that was March. So like I said, mainly I worked on Martha Dawson. I also worked on a little knitting, and I just realized I didn't bring them over here. So, and I don't see the bag handy. Did I stick it over here? Yeah, so I don't want to take the time to go look for it because I don't know where I stuck the knitting bag. Next time. I have a pair of socks. Check me out on Instagram. It was earlier this week. It's a pair of socks by Irish Girly Knits that I've been working on We won't say how long. I'd have to look in Ravelry to see exactly when I started them. It's been a couple years at least, because I didn't really knit a whole lot, especially as the pandemic really got going, because I'd been having a lot of trouble with my wrist. I still, I mainly stitch left-handed because everything I do, you know, uses some wrist action. I'm on the computer all the time at work, using the mouse, yeah. I don't have the symptoms of carpal tunnel, but I often, if I am not careful, my wrist will start hurting and I won't be able to do anything except work. And we need some work-life balance. So we need to be able to do some crafty things, or we go crazy. So that was March. So if we look back, I'm checking in my day of books just to make sure I don't miss anything. And I should have double checked that I had everything with me before I did that, because then I would have had my knitting over here. Okay, so again, in no particular order, what did I work on in February? Well, the main thing I worked on in February, we'll go that way since that's what we did for March. The main thing I worked on in February is Rose Ada Featherstone, which is this year's, our Sampler Years group on Facebook, Stitch Along. And my plan was to keep up with this. And I did a good job in February, even stitching that bluebird. So let me show you. So this is exclusive to Hobby House Needleworks, and I haven't checked in a long time to see if they even have any of these left. I bought the kit that came, and I chose their overdyed, Hobby House's overdyed conversion, because I like to stitch in cotton overdye. And I chose, for the linen option, I chose their Antique Lace by Seraphim, I believe. Is it Seraphim? Does it say? I don't have that handy. And I believe, is this 40 count? Yeah, it looks like it's 40 count. I believe this is 40 count. So I pretty much had February done, except I forgot to put the red centers in these two flowers. And I had planned to, you know, to keep up and do March, you know, what was on the plans for March in the group. But I had pulled out Martha Dawson. Actually, I'd pulled out Martha Dawson. I forgot to say this. I had pulled out Martha Dawson because there were some birds in it, and I had finished the bluebird, and there was you know, a Monday coming up, and I was like, well, let me get some stitching done in Martha, and if I'm still feeling it, I'll stitch on some of the birds on that Monday. And the other reason is someone had and I'm sorry, I forgot your name. I remembered at the time, but it was back in February, I believe, that you made the comment. But someone had commented, maybe it was Mary. Anyway, someone had commented that, you know, I should just keep on with Martha, even though I had, you know, had noticed I had all these mistakes in certain areas. And I was like, yeah, I do need to do that sooner rather than later, because it's such a pretty sampler. So I did, and then I got consumed. But anyway, these are the threads. This is their overdye conversion. Nice bright colors, which is nice. You know, I kind of I like different colors in samplers. You know, sometimes it's nice to stitch on one that's more sort of subdued colors, but then there's some really pretty ones, especially that Hands Across the Sea and others have put out in the last couple years, that are nice and bright and cheerful. And sometimes that's what you need, right? So that's my progress. You know, my start and progress on Rose Ada Featherstone. So So I'm totally out of order of how I normally do this. Usually I do finishes, then I do starts. It's just the way it is right now. Okay, so to sort of keep along with the hat sampler theme I got going on here right this minute, one of the other things that I worked on in February, just for a couple of days, let me see. Yeah, just a couple of days, right after I finished Bluebird's message, that Valentine bird one. I worked on Esther for just a couple of days. Esther Blackwood, 1853. This is a, this is only available through Traditional Stitches in Canada. It's a Canadian sampler from Quebec, and I am stitching it on Lakeside, 36 count, Lakeside Vintage Pecan Butter. Oh, that's where that needle went. And I've just kind of been hopping around on here. And I realized, like when I went to put this one in, this here, that I actually got the top of this first part of the border one stitch lower than it's supposed to be. So I am not going to take that out. You know, some people would, because they, you know, it's a reproduction and they want it to be exactly, that would not be enjoyable for me. And this is about enjoying the process. So I decided just to make a note of it, go with it. But then I placed this band here, just two threads closer to the alphabet than it is in the chart, so that you know, this is in the right place. Unfortunately, there was enough wiggle room here that I could do that, and that's just gonna be the way it is. Yeah, this is a beautiful linen. It's a very large piece, and I really need to cut it, because the sampler isn't going to be this large. It's a large-ish sampler, but it's not going to be this large. So again, I'm doing my own overdye conversion. This one I'm doing sort of piecemeal. So again, this is part of a stitch along. This is a stitch along that Traditional Stitches is doing. It sort of took over from the Ann Morrison stitch along that they did last year. And so I had picked out the threads for the first month, and then started picking out the threads for the second month. But I'm still in the first month. And actually there's 2 more threads I need to, I think I've chosen. I had planned to look for some substitutes at Judy's, but I just haven't had a chance to get over there. And I wanted to start filling that because I needed that for the first month part, and to kind of finish filling in the corner of that border. So, you know, I think I left that needle in there because I was going to stitch on this some more in February. And then I ended up pulling Martha out, and that was all she wrote. Sorry, Esther. I guess I love Martha more. But yeah, so this is Esther Blackwood. I'm trying to remember, when did I started Esther the end of December, 26th of December. And so I think since the last time, I maybe put in a few more letters, and then started on those bands, the red and blue one and the yellow one, or gold actually. That mainly, so those were easy to work on when I was a little bit tired, because it's You don't have to count much. It's once you kind of get into the rhythm, you can kind of put your brain on autopilot and just go across. Those are good ones to have. I will probably pull this one out this month unless Martha totally consumes me. And then one of the things I had planned to do in February was work on a red sampler. You know, thinking February, hearts, red, and also, was it Colorado Stitcher? What's her shop called? I forget. Anyway, Colorado Cross Stitcher. She used to own the Loopy U. She just sold it. I think she sold. Did she sell it? She sold it. Yeah, she was gonna close it, and then somebody bought it. Which is her yarn knitting shop. And I guess she's just gonna do her cross stitch shop now. And if I understood correctly, don't quote me on that. So I saw a quick part of one of her videos. I'm way behind on watching FlossTube. Anyway, in February, she had a red sampler sale for her like winter, her winter stitching camp. And I was gonna sort of play along, not starting a new red sampler because I already had 2 on the go, but to work on those 2. And you know, I ended up working on that bluebird after finishing what I wanted to get done on Rosetta Featherstone, so that didn't happen so much. But I did, let's see, was it only one day? Yes. On the last Sunday of February, just so I could say I worked on a red sampler, I got out Julia L. Fuchs, 1869 by GGR. I really want to get some more GGR. I have 2 GGRs, and both of them are started. But there's some more of her charts that I really want to get. And unfortunately, Judy Stitchery Nook, my local needlework store, doesn't carry them, and Gigi's not on Hoffman. So I'm not sure how shops get her. I know Traditional Stitches carries some of her charts, and I've seen them on 1-2-3 Stitch. But I prefer to spend most of my stitching money at my local store. Keep her going. So you know, and I don't honestly remember what I got done. I think I may have finished like the top border and then started working down here. So this is Julia L. Fuchs, and I'm doing this on 46 count. Oh shoot, what's the color? I don't have it written down. 46 count. It's Picture This Plus. No, I'm sorry, it's Weeks Dye Works. 46 count, it's a Weeks Dye Works. And I am blanking on what the color is. Sorry, I should have looked it up. But anyway, I'm using SWA 103. And the color is 524, a nice red. And I'm actually doing the stitching with a number 10 beading needle. It's not sharp, or at least not, I mean, it's sharper than like a needles we normally use. It's, you know, but it's not, it doesn't have a really pointy tip that you can hurt yourself with unless you do it with a little force. But so I need to get this one out more, because especially where I am right now working on this border, again, it doesn't take a ton of concentration. It's just that it's 46 count, so sometimes it's hard for me to work on at night. Maybe I'll work on this some today. I don't know. I've been working on 40 count stuff, so it might work. Okay, what else did I work on in February, since we're going backwards? So it looks like the only thing left to tell you in terms of stitching I worked on is, and do I have, oh, actually, let me show you. I don't have a color printout, so because I've been stitching, and I've been stitching this one from Dropbox. Oh, come on. No, I don't want to play Mahjong right now. Okay, I need to keep telling it I want to quit. Yes, I do want to end the game. Could you please let me out? Okay, sorry about that. So I wanted to get on Dropbox. I thought I got a new Kindle Fire. That, oh, I have to tell you about that. I don't think I've mentioned this. I thought I had Dropbox on here. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'll have to go to my phone. I had an old Kindle Fire that, no, apparently I didn't actually put it on here yet. I thought I had, so I could stitch on this when I was doing other things. I don't see it on my apps. Okay, never mind. Oh wait, let me start here. I do have it on here. Ha. I had an old one that I won in a drawing with 3 Irish Girls yarns. Oh, when was it? Like around 2007, 2008. And I got this message from Amazon saying, no, we're not going to be supporting your Kindle Fire anymore, which I hadn't used in a long time. I leave it at our house in Corpus, and I use it sometimes when I'm there. And instead I had a Kindle Paperwhite here. And it's kind of on its last legs. It's getting old too. Anyway, I said, we'll replace it for free with a Fire 8 HD if you reply by this date. And I was like, it's an email, I don't know. Let me go in my account and see if I can see that info in my account. And there was a code to use. So I went into my account rather than using the link from the email, because you never know these days. And sure enough, it was real. And I was like, yeah, send me one. So here it is. Okay, come on. So I want files. Sorry, this is taking longer than it should, because my brain can't handle multitasking these days. Okay, Barbara Anna. So the other thing I worked on for Mary 25 was Barbara Anna's, oh, let's see. We need some light here. I have it set for nighttime, so there's not much light. Okay, that's better. Infinite Christmas. It was a freebie that she put out. I'm sure you could still get it if you go to her Instagram account. But that is so cute. Like many Barbara Annas, it's so cute. So I had started this back in December, and in February I decided to pull it out for Mary 25. And I believe I am using all the called for colors of thread. Not really much to see, because at least the ones I pulled, most of them are in baggies. So am I using all the called for? I am using all the called for. The only thing different is that I'm using DMC number 12 pearl cotton, because when I picked this up, I was at our house in Corpus and didn't have any ecru DMC floss with me. So I actually have made some good progress on this one. Let's see. I think it goes this way. So I'm stitching this on 32 count. Sorry. 32 count light mocha. Looks like it's a Zweigart, which I think might be the called for. I can't remember. It might just be, let's see if I can get this so you can see. Anyway, so I'm using all the called for, and I got in the tree. Let's see, Mary 25. Yeah, okay. So I stitched on it the 25th and the 26th. Because I was like, the 25th of February was a Friday night. There's no way I got that much done on a Friday night. So I think I finished putting in this here, and then I got the tree in, and then down here, and then started putting these in too. It's because I spent that Saturday stitching for at least in between other things, and got a lot done. Since this one has, a lot of repeated stuff in it, it might be one of those things where I pull it out. And there's another needle that should not have been left in the project. Let me just put it on a needle minder. I think I have one over here. Yes, I do. It's even my Christmas needle minder. I probably was thinking I would stitch on it another day, and then I didn't. So I was happy with the progress that I made on that. So what else did I do in February or March? Well, I tried to do a little finishing, and this is not a fully finish, but I have this, and it looks very like 70s, early 80s, because that's where it's from. This was a thing my mom gave me, or that she had, and I acquired. And I have, it originally came with some Ada inserts, and then you put whatever you want in them. And I had put Christmas angels from some book years and years ago. I finally finished the last one, and it hangs up. And then I ended up, after I pulled it back out and finished the last angel, I was like, oh, I should do something for maybe each holiday or each season. So and I think I've shown them, I have a set that I did for Valentine's, and I've been wanting to do one for spring Easter. And I had finished this last year. This is from Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher from 2020 by Heart and Hand. I forget what it's called, but she's released all 4. She did seasonal. She's released all 4 as one chart. And this is a Hardanger heart that I did as in a class a long time ago. Close to 20 years ago. And I just changed out the fabric behind it, and I had something that sort of matched this. This is a Picture This Plus. I think it's Mesa. And I changed the colors on this to kind of go with the fabric. But I've been looking, I like what I did for February, and I should have kept them out so you could see. I had a cross stitch over one, which actually this is too, the Hardanger heart with a reddish thing behind it, sort of on the maroon reddish side, and then and then an embroidery. And I wanted to do the same thing, but I've been looking for the right motif to embroider, and so I've been looking through a lot of my little redwood books, and I'm looking for something like flowers or something like that. And I have a couple of possibilities. In fact, I even thought about doing like little chicks, because I found some little chicks that I could just get some muslin out and do. But then I started thinking, no, I want to kind of keep with this sort of peachy, pinky peachy and brown. So I think I'm gonna look for some flowers and do some sort of different peachy pinky flowers. Maybe add in some green and stuff too. But like I said at the beginning, I'm a little matchy-matchy. The light just is not very good today. I think part of it is the sun angle. I don't know about you, but this year I've had a horrible time getting used to the switch to daylight savings time, like more than I can ever remember. Like normally, well, part of it is sleep deprivation, but normally I try to get up between like 5 and 5:30 so I don't have to be in a rush, and I can get into work early and get some things done before other people get there and start asking me to do things or asking me questions. I cannot seem to drag myself out of bed before 6 o'clock, which is, obviously my body still thinks that that's the time I normally get up. But I don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel this year. So I also, back in February, worked on some finishing. I have a whole set. I think I've shown some of these before. Actually, let me show you the one that's been fully finished for a long time. So my friend Susan taught me how to do these stand-ups. And so this is January. This is an old Erica Michaels. These are a bunch of freebies that she did for Rainbow Gallery. And there was a cross-stitch shop in San Antonio. At the time I lived in San Marcos, which is in between Austin and San Antonio. There was a cross-stitch shop in San Antonio called Cross Stitch Plus. And one year would have been, I'm pretty sure it was 2003, because I remember they had to send me the last like 4 or 5 months in the mail because I had moved. But they had kitted these up. So I finally finished stitching all of them. I forget when. And then in December of 2019, Susan got me organized and showed me how to do this. And we got everything cut out for the rest, or I got everything cut out for the rest of the year. Susan probably helped too. So I had pulled this one out in February to finishing it. Obviously I didn't, because I had pulled it out the February before to finishing it and thought I had gotten farther and that all I needed to do was put these together and make the twisted cord. Well, it turned out that I had finished this part, but I hadn't finished this part. So I still had to finish lacing and finish doing the corners. So this still needs to get put together, and I still need to make the cord. And at this point, it's like, maybe I should just get out April or May and work on that. That's the way my life is going right now. Anyway, so I'm like, I even have all the pearl cotton to make the twisted cord picked out. I have everything. Everything's all cut out. These are all sewn. It's just, when I have time, it's like, I just want to stitch. Don't want to do these other things. I just want to stitch or knit. Or in some cases, spin, which I haven't been doing any of in several months and want to get back into. Okay, so that's what I've been working on. And the other thing I wanted to show you is the things that I bought back in February. Well, one I bought in March. Thing I bought back in February after I recorded last. And then we'll look at some March things I acquired. So it must have been in February or late January. Bright Needle announced they were back. Again, if you're a longtime viewer, I love Bright Needle. And so I did a little search online to see, is anybody carrying their stuff yet, or are they back on Hoffman? So I could ask Judy to order me the charts. I think they had released 2 new charts and 2 re-releases, which I haven't gotten yet. I need to ask Judy if she can get them. Anyway, so I went online and I just happened to find somebody's Etsy shop, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was selling this used, I think it was a used copy, I think maybe, or at least an old copy that had seen several stores. This is the sampler. It's a 9-patch sampler. And I just love their aesthetic. have not actually finished stitching any of their things. I've loved them for years and years and years. But I didn't have this one. So I was like, oh, let me just buy it. And then I'll ask Judy to get me the new ones. And I think the ones they had re-released, I didn't have yet either. I might have had one of them. I don't remember. Anyway, but I haven't seen anything since. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And I just haven't had a chance to ask Judy. Work's been really busy. And I've been in a blue funk. Anyway, so I need to get on that and ask if she can get their new releases. Because I haven't seen them anywhere. I check like 1-2-3 Stitch every once in a while. Okay, what else did I acquire? Well, when was this? I think late February? Late February, maybe? It was before, I know it was before the Nashville Needlework Market. Luminous Fiber Arts actually released for sale on her website her things that she was releasing during market. This is the Friendship series, and I think she said this was going to be the last one, at least for now. And I've collected the other one, so of course I had to have this one. So this is Stitching Birds. So I got that one. And then her other series, the Gathering series, or maybe this was the one that's finished for now. I don't remember. Guys, right now, don't quote me on anything. That's where my brain is. And I've been collecting all the Gathering ones too, so I went ahead and got Gathering Honey and Gathering Snowflakes. And these are stitched on her Sparrow linen. And I have some, and I bought some more. I have some in my stash. And I'm actually going to do them on either 36 or 40 count. I haven't decided, probably 36. And I've been collecting the silks. I think for the last couple, Judy got me the silk. So I'll ask her to get me the silk for these two. Since I bought the charts directly from Misty. And then of course, because she had, I said I went a little overboard, because she had some in her shop, and her linens sell out real fast, the ones that she dyes. I went ahead because I really liked the soft porcelain I was working with and wanted to do for the birds, and so I bought a fat half of soft porcelain. This is 40 count. And then I wanted some more 36 count Sparrow. And this actually, that's closer. This seems to be a lot darker than the other Sparrow that I've gotten from her. So I'm not quite sure, like if this is closer to what she intended and the other Sparrow I have is just lighter. I need to ask her. Anyway, it's beautiful still. It's just a lot darker. It's actually darker than it's coming across. Even back here. But, so, let's see. So I think that's pretty much it. I had wanted to do a science corner today because, I am a scienceknitster. I'm a scientist. I like to talk some science. But I don't have anything. I did just want to sort of a public service announcement. You probably realize that, or have heard that the CDC has, loosened their recommendations for mask wearing and so forth if you're fully vaccinated and boosted. If you're in areas of low and medium transmission, and it's easy to find on their website. Actually, I'll try to put a link to where you can go and check, your county, what it is, if that's of a concern to you. But if you're high risk, and there's different, like you have diabetes, you have upper respiratory issues, like, you know, COPD, asthma. They've got a whole list of things. If you're obese, you know, you're still considered high risk and should seriously consider keeping your mask on. I still wear my mask when I'm at work, except when I'm alone in my office. And when I go into public places, like the grocery store, or if I'm in a confined area with other people that I don't know their status. But you know, it's your decision, right? You're an adult, you can make a decision. I just ask, you know, do what you can do to help lower the transmission. The more we lower the transmission, the less likely a new variant that might be even scarier has a chance to evolve and get out there. So I'll end with that. And wow, I kept this one under an hour. I guess I should stitch monogamously more often because then I have less to show. But my plan is to come back actually later this month and do some kind of parade. Maybe a finishing parade, finished but not fully finished parade. It's something I've been thinking about for a while, and in the meantime, like everybody else has been doing it. And then I also thought, well, I've bought a lot of charts on PDF the last few years, and I often forget to show them as my new acquisitions because I record these on my iPad and I do everything from my iPad. So something like that. I haven't decided. Or I might dive back in. I remember last year I sort of featured a designer that was really big back in when I was really into stitching before, like in 15 years ago, and isn't like, it's still there out there but not known so much. So I might do something like that again. If you have a preference, let me know. I have a lot of stuff in my stash, so I could definitely do a designer, like old designer profile. Anyway, let's see if we can actually keep this under an hour. Thank you for being with me today, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I just want to remind you, please take time to be kind to yourself and be kind to your neighbor. Bye.